World of Tanks Steel Hunter tips. I'm going to go through the Steel Hunter game mode. I'm going to give you some tips about the game. They are posted in my forum at cheapbooks.cc. So this is just a few general tips. You want to upgrade quickly. You want to have an edge in any combat, such as chasing a vehicle. So for example, if you are fighting, it's better to chase after a vehicle because your opponent is less likely to be focused on shooting back at you. Avoid combat until you have upgrades, and the reason why is because obviously when you have an upgrade, you have an advantage, but keep in mind some of the upgrades are radio upgrades and it really doesn't give you an advantage. Head towards the middle of the map. This you just have to know because eventually the outside perimeter of the map is going to become a zone, a red zone that you cannot play in. Keep in mind that Steel Hunter should not be confused with another World of Tanks game mode, which was called Steel Hunt. I've got videos of it on my channel. You will slowly or eventually have to head towards the middle of the map. Enemy tanks are destroyed quickly. Could be one of the remaining 10 or 5 simply by hiding or avoiding enemies. So if you start out with like 36 tanks, I believe, and you get into combat and you fight with somebody and you survive, there's a good chance there's only 18 tanks left in the game just after one battle because everybody's going through the same thing. So it happens very quickly. It'll go from 36 down to 18. Some tanks are far more powerful than others. This is just a fact. There's some tanks that have very, very overpowered capabilities, and some are very underpowered. If you try to collect a resource or heal hit points using a consumable, your progress will be reset or fail if you're damaged by the enemy. So they can reset your progress if you're trying to heal or if you're trying to collect a resource, and if they keep on shooting at you with an autoloader, you'll never collect it. There are rental tanks. You need to earn tokens. They're called seals in order to use a rental tank. The rental tank is for Steel Hunter game mode only. Use the rentals if your standard vehicles are unavailable or if they have a feature you want. Because if you can play the regular vehicles, play them. The reason why is because you don't want to be in the situation where all of your regular vehicles are in battle and you can't play any rental tanks because you used up all of your rentals. So it's just like a little tip. But you can do it. You'll figure it out. The game may charge you a fee for a rental tank. That would probably be in credits. The rental time period is limited. I believe it's 1 day. Airdrops. Now keep in mind that there's a lot of different locations on the map. They're not all airdrops. Collecting airdrops increases your level, giving you access to better weapons, ammo, HP, armor, etc. Airdrops are yellow, green, or blue. There's also a red collectible. A defeated vehicle becomes red and can be collected like an airdrop. Collect as many airdrops as you can before you engage the enemy in combat. It will give you an advantage. And collect airdrops if you need ammo or if you need hit points. You definitely want to head for the airdrops. I don't remember which one is which, but we're going to get into it later. Blue is airdrops, and then green and yellow, one of them gives you ammo and repairs, and the other one gives you the consumables. Plan ahead, use special abilities. You definitely want to learn to use them. Upgrade and modify, use the right tank. What's next here? You'll take damage if you remain in the red zone too long, and too long means like 5 seconds. And it can destroy your vehicle, so you don't want to stay in the red zone. The yellow zone is not dangerous. It takes a long time before it expands. Doesn't damage your vehicle. It's okay to be in the yellow zone, but you want to know how to get out as quickly as possible in case it turns red. There may be airdrops in the yellow zone that you want to collect, and with practice you'll have no problem collecting them. Enemy players tend to leave the yellow zones early, so it can be a safe place to hide for a short time. I've got some videos to get one of them. I'm going to have to pause it because there might be an ad. That's going to ruin the video. Very angry about that audio track. This is the mini map, and over here you see that you press the X key for the consumable. You've got the yellow, the green, the blue airdrop, and the enemy vehicles, which are triangles, upside down triangles. The red zone is over here, the yellow zone, the yellow zone will become red. So what you see on the mini map is going to change after a certain amount of time. It disappears. You got to pay close attention to where everything is and what you can reach, and keep in mind your enemy tanks are going to be going for the same drops. The minimap shows the location of airdrop supplies, consumable zones, and enemy tanks. Use a radar function, spot items. You have to point your gun towards the enemy to see him in the game. So if you look around, you might not see him. You have to actually turn the gun. You want to play each vehicle to its strength. For example, you've got fast tanks, you've got well-armored tanks, you've got special abilities that do extra damage, and some that protect you. The abilities might change for each tank. Every time they release a new season of Steel Hunter, they sometimes make changes to some of the vehicles. The ammo penetration varies by each tank, so make sure you check your ammo penetration, because some vehicles are going to have low penetrating ammunition. Some vehicles get double barrel guns. I can't believe all the spelling mistakes. Auto loaders, stronger armor, etc. So this is for one particular vehicle. It shows you the advantage. It's got strong armor, high damage, disadvantage, low speed, and the radio detection operation is poor. So every vehicle has a different advantage. I have somewhere, I have all the vehicles listed in the tank section. So you can look up a vehicle and it will show you the consumables that come with it, and doesn't have the penetration yet. And it explains what they do. This is a crew member. You have one crew member per vehicle. And they have skills and perks. Like this one has designated target, which is kind of dumb. I guess it means the enemy's spotted longer. And this is intuition, which means you change rounds faster once per battle. But you know what? I don't think anybody's going to use those. But some of the other vehicles have like snapshot and smooth ride, for example. You cannot use the crew member in other game modes. This is the upgrade. You see you got level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 2 looks like a radio, 3 is engine, 4 is gun, 5 looks like hull, 6 is turret, and 7 is gun. And you can see you have choices, like 1 is timer, means you spot them longer, and this is probably greater range. This is probably faster. This might be more horsepower. This looks like an autoloader. Probably shorter reload. This is obviously spinning the hull faster. This is more armor. This is the turret faster, more armor. You're going to want to know which one is number 1 and number 2, because obviously you're going to want the stronger armor. And then for the last one, you got faster reload, autoloader, and you got mini explosion. This is an example of when you're playing the game. It lets you choose. You have to hit the control key in 1 or control key 2, and you get one of these. You got to decide real quick, and sometimes you don't have time to decide. If I don't have time to decide, I just hit control 1. And sometimes you'll get 2, like you'll level up, and then you'll level up again immediately. So be aware that that can happen. This shows you that you've got 16 vehicles left in the game, how many you've destroyed. There's some sort of mistake. I think it's supposed to have a 1 for the 0 this game. This shows you level 4. You're going up to level 5. you're at 1800, you need 2500 points in order to get the upgrade to level 5. When you are capturing, you see how we got this blue circle and the blue smoke? It shows you a little countdown. It says collecting airdrop. You have to stay within the circle. You don't have to be stationary. And if somebody hits you, it resets the counter. I believe you got 5 seconds. All vehicles have radio detection, which displays loot points within its coverage area. And it doesn't mean that you will be revealed. However, another player can reveal you. So to upgrade your vehicle, you need to search for the loot points. There's 4 types of loot points. Consumables, which is for your hit points, ammo, and etc. Supplies is for damage module and possibly a combat ability. I've had like 6 combat abilities in the game before. You got to know each one and how they work and how to turn them on and off. It takes a lot of practice. Airdrops have restores durability, which I'm guessing is hit points. Repairs modules, gives ammo. 1 charge for each ability. That's pretty good. I must have gotten a lot of airdrops. Spoils of War contains half the resources of a destroyed vehicle. Repairs your damage modules and part of the hit points. You can collect 2 or more pieces of loot at the same time. You watch my Steel Hunter replays, the older ones, there was a guy who got 3 at the same time because 3 tanks were all destroyed in the exact same location. The vision system uses vision cones. So the red vehicle in front is visible, but the one on the right, the player would not see him. He might be on the radar, but he would not be seen when he pans around unless he points the gun at him. There is 6th Sense, and it doesn't mean that you'll see them. You have the 50-meter rule. They have to be within 50 meters to be automatically visible. With the enemy, you can see their hit points, and you can see their silhouette, but it doesn't have the advanced silhouettes that you can use in random battles where it partially shades a vehicle. So there's a new currency called a seal, which is used to rent special vehicles. There's a permanent bonus to credits and combat experience from premium accounts. It says here you can use personal and clan reserves, and a bonus for playing in a platoon. There's 8 vehicles, and they each have different rental costs. And your seals are only during the current event. It says players will have access to seals earned during previous events. However, accumulated seals will be nulled after the event ends. I don't understand. Okay, you can play missions that allow you to win credits, bonds, and more. There's a limit to how many missions you can complete per day. The missions are in the Missions tab, and they're automatically running, and you automatically get the rewards when you complete it. So it says cause damage. You got to do 12,000 damage as a current mission, or be in the top 5 or the top 10. I believe that if you get in the top 5, it also counts as a top 10, but I'm not sure. These are the missions. You get the stamps, and the stamps unlock the missions below. So if you do this every day for 12 days and you get enough of these stamps, then it unlocks this and you get these prizes, which looks like a retraining order, directives, and bonds. These are examples. You can get 450 bonds. The personal training manual, which is really good, that's 800,000 experience. Looks like retraining orders, bonds, cash, etc. This is everything that you're going to get for 2023. 750 bonds, 16 retraining orders. That is awesome. 1.2 million silver, a bunch of personal reserves, tons of directives. You can do the missions solo or platoon. And it says here you can keep tokens to get valuable goodies. But I did not see a store. I looked to see if there was a store, and I did not see one. So you have your Steel Hunter statistics in the statistics area. This is what it looks like after a battle. You notice I got 137,000 credits, which was probably a prize from winning a mission or something like that. This is one of the maps, one of the first maps that was used in the game. So I'm going to talk about it real quick. If you've got a fast tank, you're going to do well up here and kind of in the middle. If you've got a slow tank or a well-armored tank, you want to stay in the cities. So when you spawn in, you want to try and pick an area out here in the open and collect as many of the airdrops as you can. Same's going to be true with this. Obviously, there's less open areas, but they won't be able to keep up with you if you got a fast tank. It's very difficult, I'm sure you've already discovered, when you play in this little river or aqueduct, it's very difficult to figure out how to get down or up in order to get an airdrop. This is a new map. It's got a lot of open areas, which is going to be good for the light tanks. Unfortunately, I have high ping time, so I'm having trouble playing. So airstrike, you drop it just like you do with other World of Tanks modes. You got to drop it on the enemy, which means he's probably got to be tracked, or you really got to time it perfectly. The fireball is a mine that chases after the enemy. I'm going to show you some of the other vehicles other than the Arlequin. Look at Beowulf. I'm not going to say all these. Harbinger, Raven. That's Valkyrie, and Varyag. You get, I think, the Varyag, the Arlequin, and the Harbinger at the start of the game. So Beowulf has Ring of Fire, which means that it puts a ring around you. But it doesn't say if it's around you or the enemy, because it says it causes damage. And okay. So maybe it's around you and any enemy vehicle gets damage and they slow down. And then this one over here, really weird. It says if you get hit, you gain hit points. And you get a little bit of a bonus, then you gain hit points, and then you and your allies gain hit points. That sounds like a really good one. Electric Discharge. Reduces enemy mobility and causes damage. This one says it does more damage when you use that one. That's on the Huracan. This causes additional damage over time, and this is a battlefield robot. This is on the Chinese vehicle. Got to rent that one. This is Corrosive Mist. Concealment bonus to vehicles within range. And it damages vehicles within range. So I could see why it's good if you want to hide from somebody. And Berserker, it gives you better performance like Vents and BIA, but it says it reduces your hit points for a short time. So then you've got, this is like Vents, it improves your aim, and this one slows down. This does the opposite. This reduces the performance of an enemy vehicle. So this is how a lot of people win the game. They hide somewhere, and if you want to go after them, they'll set the trap, and there's no way you can avoid it. If they hide in a little small space, then what happens is they just... so every vehicle has the repair kits and the hit point recovery. But if you get hit while doing a recovery, it resets. This is the turbocharger and then a repair zone. So I'm guessing that you have to remain in it, and your allies can probably stay in it too. Then you've got the minefield. It's difficult to use because the enemy has to drive through it, and this is obviously the restoring hit points feature. So I am going to hopefully play this without anyone getting angry about the fact that it's an ad. Okay, so that's a little bit of the gameplay. Go back to see if I've got anything else, because it could be a lot more. I put a lot of material today. I went through these, the maps, shots. I will go through the how to play and the review, and we'll go through tank tips. So there's 8 vehicles. They have different tactics, gameplay, and abilities. Each has one regular and one ultimate combat ability. There are 2 combat abilities that are common for all vehicles, which is the repair kit and recovering hit point. So this is the upgrade system. I believe we already talked about this. So you want to collect resources, upgrades, and repairs. You want to do damage and destroy enemy vehicles, but surviving is important. Eventually, you're going to have a one-on-one battle with the other surviving tank. Avoid the red and yellow zones because the zones shrink, which makes the map smaller and smaller, which means you're going to end up confronting the enemy. Use the radio feature by pressing the X key to find enemy targets and airdrops. You must point your gun in the direction of the enemy for him to be visible. To start it, you go to the Steel Hunter game mode, and it will show you the queue for solo and for platoon. Gets into the game pretty quick. Is there anything here? Okay. Green is consumables. Yellow, supplies. Blue is the airdrop, and which means a plane will actually come and drop it. When you see the parachute, it's not actually on the ground yet. So it's possible to get there before it's physically landed. And Spoils of War is a destroyed vehicle, and it will stay there until someone collects it. This talks about the radio detection, which is very basic. It's just spotting range. Yellow means it will close soon, but actually you have a long time to stay in it. And in the red zone, you'll gradually lose hit points, and you got a short amount of time to get out of there. The vision cone means that you can only spot who is within your cone, so the guy next to him cannot be spotted, even though he'll appear on the map within the radio range. And then we've got the 3 maps, Ardagar, Dreamland, and Infernal Fur. At the end, you see the number of vehicles destroyed, how much money you made, bonds, seals, etc. Doesn't show the same battle report as a random battle. Requires more resources. Large map sizes, there's more players. You're going to need more RAM, especially video RAM. And the simplified vehicle outlining is not available in the Steel Hunter mode. Some of the vehicle outlines are not available. So you're over here. It says you're one of 20 players. I guess it's 20. Okay. You choose to fight solo or in a platoon. You want to survive at all costs. If you survive, you get more rewards. Like the top 3 players get a lot more bonds or whatever their prizes. Collect the loot boxes. The most valuable is the airdrop. It'll level you up a lot faster. with one airdrop, you should go up a level. It's got its own in-game currency, which is seals, which is for renting vehicles. You can upgrade while you're playing. The battle time is 15 minutes. You can choose the spawn point and receive rewards for completing daily missions. Okay, so not only do I have a Steel Hunter section on my forum, which is cheapbooks.cc, I've got all the game modes. There's tons of World of Tanks material. The ones that have only a few views, I just posted this a few days ago, which is why no one's watched them yet. There's a lot of information here. It's all in the tutorial and tip format. Like over here, you got World of Tanks tips. And as time goes by, there's going to be more tips posted, so you might want to go check to see what's changed. Today is January 31st, 2023. So if you're watching this a long time after, I might have more tips. In fact, probably a week from now, I'm going to be playing Steel Hunter every day. I'm going to be adding more tips as the week goes by and hopefully correcting spelling mistakes. Okay, if you have any questions or comments, please post below.